I'm really excited to be here today, and a huge thank you to Chris and the DeepIntent team for such a life-changing event for me. My name is Bill Veltre. I'm the Executive Vice President, nope, just kidding, brand new title, Chief Media Officer at Deerfield. I was going to walk through 5 key areas with you today and show you how we put value into action. When we started this process, I wanted to make sure that the appearance at AdLab really was about giving you something to experiment with, how we've experimented with it, and show you the results. So we're going to quickly welcome you, so welcome. We're going to talk a little bit about lab coat vibes because we want to dive into the experiments. And then we're going to talk about the results, real results from real campaigns that we've used Helix for the last year. Unleashing value through dynamic collaborative partnership. I have a pet peeve. I don't think of anyone as a vendor. I think of everyone as a partner. We are all in this together to make the outcomes come to life. And empowering Deerfield to differentiate and win by providing seamless access to insights and infrastructure, creating custom solutions, and meeting customer needs. All of those things are at the nooks and crannies of why this partnership came to life. What we're going to try to solve for, and what we've continued to solve for over the last 12 months, has been the ability to link the fragmented ecosystem that we live in. Planning, buying, activation, optimization, and measurement are a full roller coaster. We all experience it every single day. But no matter your seat, whether you are an agency, a client, or a partner, we all have that moment in the room to say, do we have the data to back that up? It's a question I've asked myself through every seat that I've sat in throughout this industry for the last 20 years. Our client agency partner ecosystem is fragmented, and we have a solution today to help it be less fragmented, to be connected. We've been able to eliminate the grind of manual processes and untap proprietary data sets, and now not miss the opportunity to connect HCP and DTC insights into one cohesive strategy. We've added the ability to understand how tech constraints can be lifted from our team's concerns and actually propel them forward, knowing that tech is the foundation that they're standing on. And it's a dynamic, data-first partnership with an industry leader like DeepIntent. So Chris told you some nerdy things. He likes to get nerdy. There's SQL. You saw all of those coding things up there. You don't have to be an expert in SQL to do this. But what you do have to be is an expert at curiosity. And what you're going to see is real examples. So welcome to my lab. When I first learned about Helix, I said, what can we do with this? This is crazy that you have this idea. Like, where did you come up with this? And what it ideated very quickly for us in the first brainstorming session was we could utilize it to do media briefings differently, pitches, marketplace analysis, look at the market basket of all of the products that we're actually servicing and all of the competitive products that are in that category with them. Media planning, create more precise cross-channel plans that use data appropriately. They're not guesses, it's not subjective, it's real. Optimizations, enable faster, efficient, more pushes to the DSP with a result in mind. And then measurement, deliver clear cross-channel performance. Helix and the DFG workflow have really made it efficient. We've been able to present strategic business needs and client questions at a faster rate. It requires data-driven insights, which Deerfield Media scopes the challenge, and then ultimately extracted the data in a secure environment, a clean room. Think of a clean room as like a kitchen with a frosted glass window where everyone brings in secret ingredients, but nobody leaves with the recipe. The goal is really that everyone is piling in and learning something super secret, but ultimately are benefiting from the value of the food. Data is layered, modeled, and segmented. We test the hypotheses and then build precision audiences that can both be modeled and utilized through the DSP and then measured. Activation intelligence flows continuously, though. This is not a closed-loop system. What's nice about it, it's not your grandmother's dashboard or some of those other partners that may have things that are stagnant. This is living. And it's only as good as what you put into it, is what you'll get out of it, and then put back into it. The use case results. We're just going to go through these 5 examples really, really quickly. So first, we had a situation where we had a mid-sized pharma client with a 4th-line breast product, already a challenge. And they lacked scripts. So what we wanted to do was create a data-driven media strategy that was led by TRXs in the marketplace, by data, and prioritizing the audiences beyond the called-on physician. How did we do it? We utilized ICD-10 codes, CPT codes, and J codes to define the treated patient population. We qualified and quantified the market share by unique patients and enriched the HCP targeting. We integrated patient-level data with MPI prescribing patterns. And then we identified clinical diagnosis later in line patient patterns to understand what actually was happening from a volume perspective by physician, and then overlaid competitive writing behavior. All a lot, layering. This works because we layered. And we were able to get down to some unique insights that showed us that there was a propensity to write with a very small subsegment of physicians. We activated against them, and we grew scripts for a brand that had been struggling for several years. A large pharma brand with traditional approach to marketing, mostly looking to see if they can drive MBRX with plateauing HCP segments. We validated the target list segmentation, identified microsegments for a heavy up around certain marketing efforts, not just media. We analyzed 2 generics and 1 branded NDC. And we looked at the access to competitive trends as well. And when we did that and we mapped it month over month, we were able to understand a little bit more about the high, medium, and low tiers of writing. It gave us the confidence to be able to move forward with an aggregated partner-level plan that basically functioned off of the PLD performance, normalizing the results by partner and ultimately driving that idea of being able to track ICD-10 code behavior along with MBRX, layering data again to drive those diagnostic changes that we were looking for this brand. That leading indicator led to great results for us as we activated not only against the data, but utilizing the data in order to drive further engagement with the media. Another situation was we had, in a very competitive category that most of us work in, we had a breakthrough activation with the appropriate mix to drive engagement and behavior change across personal and non-personal. The task was really to identify the areas of opportunity and growth market share and prevent market loss. What we did was we leveraged open claims data from June of 24 until August of 25. And to identify the target indication diagnoses across all NPIs, we segmented the HCPs by diagnostic volume, diversity, recency, consistency, and pinpointed high potential activators. The results of this prove that we were able to activate against those subsegments based on their prescribing patterns and really redefine and refine the audience approach and their messaging. Again, bigger than media. A neurology brand aimed to evolve the generic creative that they had been long plagued by. They differentiated their launch messaging for their new campaign by driving clearer brand distinction, improved media efficiency, and measurable engagement growth. We analyzed diagnosis patterns in this category and utilized the indication data from the target list HCPs. We drove a differentiated messaging approach that actually drove brand engagement with high-valued actions. We analyzed the diagnosis patterns across the target list, and we identified key indication trends and segments that were high value to the brand. The insight informed the development of the differentiated approach and the data-driven messaging strategy that we used to tailor messaging to the individual HCP segments. We also drove stronger brand engagement with measurable impact across the HCP and DTC journey and our media plan. Above benchmark engagements across all channels, and all of the messages were geared towards Tier 2 and Tier 3 HCPs for the first time since launch. So instead of focusing all on the cream of the crop. We were able to align those messages to those tiers and actually show what the mix should be based on the data in the clean room in Helix. So if we wanted to make the choice to just be MPP only, or we wanted to mix rep, it gave us the ability to understand how those two things, when layered on, actually proved out outcomes. And last but not least is the first ever DTC campaign for a brand that had traditionally been HCP. We went with a crawl, walk, run approach with this and analyzed the data from a historical HCP-led brand. We utilized diagnosis data to develop patterns and understand that category writing behavior was to basically determine the highest potential patient populations in volume, and we created a modeled audience off of that. This allowed us to identify 350 high-valued HCPs whose patient flows and diagnostic behaviors aligned with prescribing patterns that were beneficial to the brand. We were able to translate that into a DTC audience, activate it, and seeing results currently in market. What's awesome about this is that there's no restriction to what you could do with Helix. Again, it's made our workflows faster by 50%. It's allowed us to be 8 times greater at being able to deliver data to our clients to answer strategic questions. And 5 times faster delivery of reports, because we can utilize that data from a storytelling perspective. So this is where we go next. Through Helix, we're applying learning-based models to pinpoint high-valued HCP and patient segments, aligning the right message to the right channel, underpinned by the right data. That is not something we've all been able to really say in this industry until Helix. We analyze media performance down to the partner and placement level, even with creative in mind, squeezing every dollar, making 1 work like 5. We unlock growth through audience expansion, mapping ICD-10 codes, J-codes, etc., to NDC data, uncovering hidden opportunities to model future adopters through DeepIntent's DSP and other partners. We are integrated into the live dashboards that we utilize in our agency and deliver to our clients, piping data in and out, making it real time. And yep, it worked. Before we close, I want to take a moment to thank Chris, Jen, and the DeepIntent team who gave a growing agency the keys to the G-Wagon of infrastructures. I encourage all of you to take a test drive. Find your DeepIntent team, talk to them about Helix, dive into the clean room environment. But something you need to know is that I'm not sharing any trade secrets up here, because your experience in Helix is your own. Everything about Helix is unique to the user and to the agency that is participating in it. So together we've built something that doesn't just move fast, we move with purpose. And because at the end of the day, beyond boundaries isn't about expanding tools. It's about building the right foundation. And that's what Helix gives us. It's that partnership that has made it possible with DeepIntent. So thank you.